Hi, welcome to Fantastic Living. I'm your host, Thuy Phan. Today I'm going to make one of my all-time favorite things to eat, galbi. It's really easy to marinate. Just takes a little bit of chopping and putting together the marinade, and then you will have a really delicious meat to put on the barbecue or in the oven as well. It's really easy to make, and then from this you can make something called NUI, or it's just kind of a Vietnamese style stir-fried macaroni with the beef. I like to use this because I like the meat already, so then it becomes a really delicious meal with a little bit of carb to it if you're looking for something a little bit heartier. What I have here is some beef short ribs, and they are flanking beef ribs, and you want to have a little bit of fat on there so that when you grill it, it is nice and caramely because the fat renders off of it. So you also need an Asian pear, some ginger, onion, and then garlic. And then we also have some green onion here that we're going to slice up. For this we'll also need 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, some black pepper, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, and then here I have mirin, about a 1/4 cup of mirin. Then I have here a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You can also use white sugar, but I like the brown sugar because it adds a little bit more depth to it. And then you need 1/2 cup of water and then 1/2 cup of soy sauce. So blend all of this together and you marinate it overnight, and it just comes out so good. So we'll get started. What I'll do now is I'll chop up the veggies, and then we'll put it all together, and then we'll grill it, and you're gonna love it. That's off the end. You want to do this at an angle or slice it thinly. And I'm a huge fan of Korean barbecue. It's just so delicious, and you can go to Korean stores and buy it already pre-marinated, but you can do it at home even easier. And I know some places don't have it readily available, so this is a good way to bring a little piece of that into your home. And I know when I go to barbecues, I sometimes get tired of hamburgers and hot dogs, although that's delicious. Sometimes when you bring this, everyone gets so excited because not only is it really good, it's just a little bit different. So you cut your scallions. Now throw everything in this big bowl for us to marinate. Next we have some garlic. You can mince this by hand, or you could do it in the food processor. And what I really like about this recipe is you can cook it in a lot of different ways. On the grill is my favorite, but sometimes it's more work to fire up the grill if you don't have it readily available for a weeknight meal. And then you could broil it in the oven, or you can also cook it in the air fryer, and they all come out really good. And what I like about galbi also, it's a little bit sweet, it's salty and umami, and oh, it's so good. And I think before, when I thought about going vegetarian, I just thought about, oh, I'm not going to be able to eat galbi anymore. And then I was like, oh, maybe another time. So galbi is the reason I still eat meat. Okay. So what we're going to do with this onion is we're going to grate it. Cut it in half. And I have this cute little grater here. That's the good stuff that you're looking for. Another grated onion. And then we're going to grate some ginger as well. You just want to peel it. And all these aromatics will just really make a huge difference when you eat the galbi, because it just has so many layers to it. Yum. Okay. Our ginger. Now our pear. So I've had times where I haven't been able to get an Asian pear, and you can also substitute this with an apple. That would work too. This really helps to tenderize the meat and adds a nice sweetness to it. Okay, that's it. Asian pear. So now I have in here, I have the Korean pear, I have ginger, garlic, onion, and then I have also scallions that I sliced up. And now we're going to add the soy sauce, half a cup. We're going to add half a cup of water. I have here a quarter cup of brown sugar. Quarter cup of mirin. If you don't have mirin, you can also use sake or rice wine, that will work too. And I have 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Sesame oil just gives it a nice toasty flavor. It's so nice in this. And I have here about a teaspoon of ground black pepper. And about 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. And then I'm going to add to this about 2 tablespoons of honey. You can use agave nectar too. Just a little bit extra flavor. The sugar is going to help give it a really nice caramelization. And we're just going to mix it all up. And I think you could tell just from the marinade, it just looks and smells so good already that you could probably add tofu or different types of meat as well. This is what it should look like. Nice and happy. Yum. Now for the fun part, we're going to marinate it. We're going to drop them all in, give them a nice rub, and then we're going to chill it for 6 to 8 hours. Let it get happy, and then we're going to grill it. It's going to be really good. So when you get your short ribs, you should rinse them off to get kind of the bits of bone and stuff off of it. And then if you have a meat tenderizer, you can use it for that as well to help with it. One great thing about these are you can marinate it and then you can freeze it and then use half or however much you're going to eat, and then at another time when you feel like eating it, you don't have to do the marinade all over again. It tastes just as good after it's been frozen. But I would suggest freezing it after you've marinated it versus freezing it after you've cooked it and then freezing it. And for those of you who are lucky enough to live near a Korean grocery store where they marinate it already, it's a really nice option. But these days, because I can make it myself, I prefer to do it myself. Just because you know what's going in it and you can adjust the seasoning to your personal liking. You can add extra sesame seeds, extra pepper, more garlic. You get the idea. I'm almost salivating looking at them because I know it's going to be so good. Okay, it's just swimming in this beautiful marinade. If you want, you could put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the fridge to save some space. Okay, it's all ready. We'll put some saran wrap on it and give it some time to marinate, and then we'll cook it. Okay, so we have this that's been marinating for a little bit, and I will do this in the oven and broil it so you can see that method, which is a little bit easier than if you had the grill or had to fire up the grill if this is just a weeknight dinner. So you just turn your oven on and put the broiler on, and you can lay it out on a baking sheet, and then you just watch it. It just takes a few minutes for it to brown on each side because there's so much sugar in this dish, so then you just have to watch it or else it'll burn. So we have our broiler on, and then we will set these ribs on the baking sheet. Now we can put a little bit of aluminum foil on there to line it so it'll be a little easier for you to clean later on. Okay. And it may not look like a lot, but it will really fill you up. I'm so excited for these. They look so good. And I had the butcher cut it a little bit thinner than the ones that are pre-cut, so it's not super tough. And don't forget to pick pieces that have a little bit of fat on there, just because it will really taste extra good. It's ready for the oven. And this I'll put in a Ziploc bag, and then we will freeze it for whenever I feel like eating it on another weeknight. So you can do many, many dinners in just one marinating session. So I think I'll stop and then. So while we are waiting for our oven to heat up and get to the broiling stage, I'm going to put in a pot of water to boil so that we can cook our rice macaroni, or NUI, for our next dish, so that we can be efficient and do several things at the same time. So it'll take about 7 minutes to cook this, but you want it a little bit chewier because you're going to saute it at the end with the beef for our second dish. So we'll put this on to boil and then cook that. And let's check our oven. I have it on a low broil right now, and then towards the end you change it to high to get it crispy at the end. There we go. I can't wait. It's been a few minutes, so we're gonna check it to see where we're at. Wow, nice. That looks so good. It's only been 3 minutes or so, so it cooks so fast. So we'll turn it in a second. That looks so good. Just turn it. All I can say is delicious. So we're going to salt the water. And I use rice macaroni because it has a different texture, and its chewiness is much better, I think, than the regular kind. But you could use that too in a pinch if you don't have this available. But if you can get the rice one, I would get it. So once the water starts boiling, we'll add it in, and it should take about 7 minutes. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Pretty good. For me, this is pretty good. If you want to get it a little bit charier, you can leave it in for a little bit longer. But I think this looks pretty darn good. Maybe just another quick minute. So good. I think 1 more minute and we should be good. So at the end, I can pop it up to high just for a little bit, so then you can broil it at the end and get the crispy char after it's cooked. Check this. All right, we're definitely good. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. It looks so good. I'm going to plate it. Okay, this is our galbi all done. It smells so good and it's nice and caramelized, and I'm going to try one piece of it. I love to eat this with some lettuce or a little bit of sriracha. It's the spot. That was really good. Perfect amount of sweet and saltiness. The nice crackly bits of the caramelized meat. Super good, super good. Can't wait for you to try this at home. And you can say you're almost a honorary Korean American eating galbi. Yum.